Hi there, welcome back to this March issue of InSPAration Moments. This is the featured article, and the featured article is about essential principles to having a successful Medi spa or spa is the business model. So you have got to look at exactly all your processes, your systems, your structure, and see if you need to tweak it a little bit. You know, a lot of times when I start working closely with clients, when we sit down one-on-one and talk and discuss their business and their business model in particular, I often find that it's like the wild, wild west, frankly. A lot of people wing it. They don't have the systems and structures that are needed to ensure their success. So in this article, I'm going to be sharing with you a few very important principles that you need to have in place to make sure that you're on the right track and that you have a good business model for your business. So the first thing we want to talk about is the marketing model that you have. Then we'll discuss the sales, operations, and then finances. So we're going to talk about 4 different areas of your business that are very important to your success. So let's start with the marketing model. I often find most people wing it when it comes to marketing. They still operate under the old adage, build it and they'll come. I'm amazed how many people even open up their doors without even a website, without a menu, and like, okay, we're open, come on in. Or if they do have a website or a menu or a branding thing, it's really not helping them. It's not positioning them as the experts that they are. And then when I dive a little bit deeper and ask them, well, what is your lead generation strategy? And often they don't really know how they're going to generate leads, and then how are we going to process them and then turn them into a sale. So a few tips I want to give you right here. These are very important things, and you can read them below, or you can just stay with me and watch it. Number 1 is you need to know how many leads are needed for you to be able to reach the numbers that you want. You need to know what is that lead source. So how many leads am I going to get from the website? How many leads am I going to get from Facebook? How many leads am I getting from events or different speaking functions you're going to do, or referrals, or maybe a conference that you're going to go to, or a bridal show that you're going to go to. You need to know where are all these leads coming from. So if you picture your business like a pond, you have all these streams coming into the pond, and when you do that and you realize how many you're going to get from each one, now at least you have an idea of, out of these leads, how many am I going to convert into a client? And when you do that, when you have that clarity and you know your conversion rate from lead to actual client, then you're going to be a lot smarter with your marketing dollars, and you're going to know how effective those marketing dollars are really doing for you. How effective are they generating clients for you? Then the other thing is, we need to track and see, out of those leads that picked up the phone and called, how many of them actually turned into a consultation. Like, how good is your guest relations team in turning the phone call into a consultation? So that's key. And then you need to figure out the size of each one of those transactions. So once they come into your place, how much are they buying from you? So the marketing and the sales kind of overlap a little bit, because you're getting people in, but then how much are we really selling them? And then, of course, how long do they stay with you? So those are definitely essential principles that you need to know and measure to make sure that your marketing dollars are paying off. So please do that exercise and crunch those numbers and see how effective your marketing really is. Okay? So now, as far as your sales model, that's a whole other thing. I don't know what it is. I think our industry is allergic to the word sales. It's like you say sales and they're like, oh, I don't want to be a salesperson. I'm not a salesperson. You want me to do what? You want me to sell something over my dead body? Like, la la, like, no way. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what it is. But the reality is, think about it. If nothing got sold today, what do you think would happen to the economy? the whole thing will just crash. We would be done. So sales is part of our lives. We might as well accept it. And if you change the mindset of the entire team and accept the fact that yes, we have to sell to survive, to make money, and then everyone could go on and do their job, right? So start by having that talk with your team and discuss the importance of making recommendations. So fine, don't call it sales. That's why our program is called Don't Sell, Recommend. It's because it's all up here. It's all in the mindset of our team. So make your recommendations, fulfill your professional obligation, because when you do that, you're going to be a lot better off. But we have to have a sales model. So like when people come in, what is that process? So we take them through the consultation, we customize the program, we recommend the treatments, the retail products, but then we want to make sure that we convert on that. Because I truly feel that if people walk out without buying things, that means we let them down. Because now they're going to go and not find or not be as happy as they could have been had they participated in what you offer. And that's really how you should feel. And when you feel that way, you're going to be a lot better off, and so is your team. So make sure that you do that. So we need to take a look at what's going on with that sales model. Are we converting at the rate that we need to? And what is that transaction size, that volume per guest that I talk about, the VPG is? And let's try to raise it as much as possible and track performance. And if you don't have consequences and ways to measure your sales performance, you're not doing yourself any favors. So you've got to really have that. So the other thing is your operations model. So we all have that we need to deal with. The most important thing is having some organizational structure. Like you need to know, okay, who's in charge? Do we have department leads? Do we have team underneath them? Who's answering to who? Whose responsibility is what? What are the protocols? What are our policies, our procedures? How do we function as a team? How are we managing our inventory? That's like the nightmare of all nightmares. I was on location, I'm not gonna name any names, and they had so much inventory. Like my heart was aching to know that all this money was sitting on the shelf. That's a lot. It's all about that turnover, the product turnover. So you need to make sure that whoever's doing your ordering knows what they need to do and how to manage the cash flow of the business and not have so much inventory sitting there on the shelves. So you've got to have manuals, you've got to have protocols and procedures in place, and you're training the team from those manuals and those procedures. And when you do that, you're going to be so much better off. So again, I'm barely skimming here because this is just an article, but you really need to dive in and truly do a complete assessment to see what you really need to do. Now, as far as the financial model, you have no idea how many people, when I first start working with them, don't even have a budget. They don't even have a P&L statement. They're just like truly like the wild, wild west. And if you don't have the financial stability, you don't have a performance-based compensation, you don't have a budget, you don't have a financial reporting system in place, then you're not a serious entrepreneur. You're just, again, winging it. And that does not help at all. So at least have a P&L statement every single month. Check your financial ratios to see how they're balancing between each other. Use your QuickBooks. Get somebody to do your financials. The last thing you want to do is to sit and do your own stuff. That's not something I do. That's not something you should do. We should all be doing what we do best. Focus on that. So that would be important. But again, just little things that you need to pay attention to. They're going to make a big difference between succeeding and or failing. And that's the last thing we want to do. We definitely want to succeed. So take a look at what you're doing right now. Check your manuals, see if they're up to par, If they're not, we have really the entire business model for you. We have 9 different manuals that you can take and actually customize and use. And if you're a member, you have access to all those for free. So just make sure you go to the private member page and download them. Make sure you put them to good use. And when you watch that webinar that I did with for you, Fall in Love, you'll see how other members actually take the tools that we have and put them to good use. So that's what I want for you too. So let's focus on that business model. Make sure you fine tune it. Make those necessary changes. Don't get stuck. That's what that webinar was all about, is falling in love with change and actually doing something different and innovate and get excited and get motivated and actually do something for your business. You deserve success. So let's do it. All right, so that's my featured article for this month. So stay tuned for the bright idea. Until then, stay inspired.